everybody, it's your Uncle Bear. Let's go back to about 1978. I was 12 years old in 1978. Now picture this. Close your eyes, guys especially. Some girls maybe, I don't know. I don't think so back then, but maybe for softball. It was softball back then. But I was 12 years old, got my little Huffy bicycle. I'm trucking at 7:15 in the morning. I'm trucking it across town. I got my banana seat and the high sissy bar on my Huffy bicycle, and I'm cooking it across town. Highland Park. First baseball practice of the new season. This is the day I'm going to find out who my coach is, who the assistant coach is, and who I'm going to be playing alongside. I like to get out there a little bit early, I like to smell the grass. There's a little dew on it. It's cool out, 62, 63 degrees out. Kind of cool to be a bench warmer, but we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be hustling. We're going to be running laps. We're going to be throwing the ball around to each other. We're going to be pitching, batting, fielding grounders and fly balls. We're finding out who's going to be playing what position. And it was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful time. The tingle that went up your arm when the wooden bat connected with the ball, and then you're wondering, how in the hell did I just get a single out of that? I'll tell you how. Because the center fielder ran up on that ball and did what he was supposed to, and he got it to the second baseman right away. He was fast, so you ended up having to stay on first. That's all right. Oh man, those were the days, right? Those were the days. It was, I remember Ray Liotta played Shoeless Joe Jackson, which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, that was a real player. But anyway, in the movie Field of Dreams, Ray Liotta played Shoeless Joe Jackson. And I remember him saying in the movie, anyway, he said, hell, I'd have played for free, And that's the way we were back then. I would have played for free. And then, 1994, the Major League Baseball went on strike. Men that played baseball and made millions of dollars, plus got their hotels paid for, transportation to the games and everything, and made millions of dollars to play, went on strike because it wasn't enough. When I went in the military right after high school, but if I hadn't, and I could have made it into the pros, if they would have paid my transportation and my motel rooms, I would have played for $100,000 a year, without question. But these spoiled brats weren't happy with millions of dollars. We played for love of the game, and we had some hellacious good players, which to this day, there's a few of them that I could name that are on my Facebook friends list today. But to this day, I'm amazed that some of them didn't make it to the majors. But it was probably because they didn't try out. That's the only reason. They probably didn't. But it was for love of the game. Title of another good movie. But yeah, the smell of the glove, the smell of the grass, the dew on the grass, the dirt in your nose that you got when you dove into base, because you saw Pete Rose do it on TV all the time, right? Those guys were players. Pete Rose, Willie Mays, George Brett, Hal McRae, Johnny Bench. I mean, there was a ton of them. I could name off great players all day long because I was a huge fan. But I'm proud to say since 1994, I haven't listened to a baseball game on the radio. I haven't watched one on television. I damn sure haven't attended one, because I refuse to feed into nothing that was just pure greed and tarnished my outlook on the whole game. But I tell you what, if I'm driving down the street when I'm at home and I see a Little League game or even a T-ball game, I'll pull over on the side of the road and watch it for a little bit. And just see these kids giving their all because they love to play the game, which is what it's supposed to be all about. Now, while we're on this subject, in 1978, the Park and Rec Department in the town I lived in, and probably the town you lived in too, the Park and Rec Department, they organized the league, and local men would volunteer.
Say a command.
Would volunteer to coach the teams. And it was I think the Park and Rec also furnished the umpires. You know, they were paid, I guess. But the coaches were all volunteer. And the uniform shirts, now your parents had to buy you some baseball pants, and you had to have tennis shoes or cleats or whatever you wanted to wear as far as that went. But the shirts, local businesses would buy the shirts with the team name on them and possibly a number, and also the business's name on the back. It was an advertising write-off for them, but they would furnish the shirts, and they'd hand them out to the team, and that's what you played the games in. Now, and taxes, by the way, paid for the whole league. They paid for the baseball. Your parents paid taxes, and that paid for the baseballs and the bats and the bags on the bases, and just the they funded the Park and Rec Department. But now there's a lot of kids that don't get to play because their parents can't afford the fee to join the baseball league. That's insane. As much as we pay in taxes as Americans, I mean, seriously, when is enough? Your property taxes, the sales tax that we pay every time we go to the grocery store, those taxes should easily fund baseball, tennis lessons, swimming lessons, all the stuff that I did when I was a kid, because it kept me out of my mother's hair, Obviously, I reached a certain age where I quit going to swimming lessons and tennis lessons, and baseball. I got to be 15 years old, and the coach said either you got to pick between your job and baseball, because I'd make it to the practices, but I couldn't make it to the games because I had to work. So I had to give up the baseball because it didn't put gas in my car, right? So, anyway, those were great memories. But yeah, we need to talk to our city council members and tell them that everybody should be able to play baseball. So they need to stop charging these exponential costs for someone to enroll their kid in these programs. And like I say, there shouldn't be an idle moment during the summertime, during summer vacation for these kids. There shouldn't be an idle moment. Every minute they're out, they should be out playing baseball. They should be taking tennis lessons. They should be taking swimming lessons, track and field. Whatever. I can't even remember all the programs. You know, our local extension service even had a program called Fun with Foods that you could sign up for, you know, where they actually taught you the basics of cooking, and then they did arts and crafts and stuff too. But, you know, it was stuff for to keep the kids busy so they weren't out getting in trouble. I ended up getting in my fair share of trouble anyway, but it was outside of those programs, you know. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. We'll talk soon. Be safe.